In 2 days, the first all-civilian mission into orbit is set to launch from the Kennedy Space Center. That means there won't be any trained astronauts on board. This Wednesday, history in space flight will be made once again on our Space Coast. A picture posted to social media shows the test of the Falcon 9 rocket at Kennedy Space Center in preps for this week's Inspiration4 mission.
We first told you about Inspiration4 earlier this year when businessman Jarek Isaacman bought all 4 seats on board the Crew Dragon.
All right, so just who are these regular Joes who are getting to take part in a mission that would take an astronaut years to train for? ClickOrlando.com's Miranda Voles is here to tell us all about it, Bree.
Well, Candace, SpaceX tweeted these pictures overnight showing the 4 crew members going through a full rehearsal. Now, this is a very different launch from the suborbital flights we saw not that long ago by Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic, which were only 10 minutes. The Inspiration4 mission is an orbital rocket launch that will take 4 humans into space beyond the International Space Station orbit for 3 days. So each of the 4 crew members have a different reason for being on board, and each passenger represents a different virtue: leadership, hope, generosity, and prosperity. So let's get to know the crew. And we'll start with the leader and the man who is paying for this trip. That is 38-year-old Jarek Isaacman. He is the founder and CEO of a company called Shift4 Payment. As a teen, he dropped out of high school and got his GED after getting a full-time job offer. He also co-owns a Florida-based company that trains pilots for the U.S. Army Forces, and as a result, he owns a fleet of fighter jets. Next, we have Haley Arsenault, who represents Hope. She's a physician's assistant with St. Jude's Research Hospital. Now, the hospital selected her after Isaacman approached the hospital about using the mission to fundraise for childhood cancer research. She was diagnosed with bone cancer at the age of 10 and went to St. Jude's for treatment. At 29, she will be the youngest person to fly to orbital space and the first with a prosthetic. Next up, we have Prosperity, and that is Dr. Sion Proctor. After the contest deadline closed, a panel of judges selected this seat. Now, she is a geoscience professor and science communicator and was chosen out of the entrepreneurs for her pitch to go to space. She was born in Guam while her father worked at a NASA tracking station during the Apollo missions. Dr. Proctor was actually very close to becoming an astronaut, but was not chosen. Pretty soon, though, she'll be able to live out her space dream with Inspiration4. That reminds me of Volley Funk, so that makes me very happy. Lastly, we have Generosity, and that's been assigned to Chris Zembrowski, but the role actually wasn't originally for him. The seat was essentially chosen at random from people who had donated to St. Jude. For one reason or another, the first original Generosity couldn't go and embark on the training, so it was Isaacman who actually picked Chris to join the crew. Zembrowski is an engineer in the aerospace industry and also happens to be a big space nerd. So that's a big dream for him. He served in the U.S. Air Force, and he's also an Embry-Riddle grad. For more backstories on the Inspiration4 crew, just head to ClickOrlando.com. Wednesday night's launch window opens at 8:02. We will have live coverage of the liftoff here on News 6 and, of course, on ClickOrlando.com. And one last thing, you can stay up to date with all of our space news with our News 6 Space newsletter. You can sign up for it using this form you see right here at the bottom of this web story. It is free and it comes out every Wednesday, so just in time for that launch.